Hello, my name is Michael Butterfield. I'm going to be showing my research and code that I've been using with Hibernate. I'm really trying to get it, and so I've done a lot of research this week. And so this is going to be my sharing video. So Hibernate is used in Java to create a database, create, read, update, and delete. And so the way Wikipedia puts it is Hibernate ORM, or Hibernate in short, is an object relational mapping framework for the Java language. It provides a framework for mapping an object-oriented domain model to a relational database. So how it is used, Hibernate is used through ORM, or object relational mapping. And this mapping is how an object model and the database, or a relational database management system, that's how they're mapped together, so the database can be changed from a Java class. And Hibernate is an ORM framework, so it's a framework of that. So setting it up so it works, this is what you need. You need this is from Tutorials Point, by the way. A lot of this information is, I put it in my own words, but you need a database connection. So your Java application needs to be connected to a database, so it has something to alter, or it has a table to change. And this is easily done by making a database on the local server in phpMyAdmin. So the way I did this is I used XAMPP with the Apache and MySQL running, and then in XAMPP I connect to the database. Or in XAMPP, you can click admin to open up phpMyAdmin and easily create the database. You can query it in using MySQL language, or you can create it using their graphical user interface. And then you can connect that database to NetBeans as long as XAMPP is still running. And you do that by clicking on Services, Databases, then right-clicking on the database and clicking Connect. And also for Hibernate to work, you need a session. So from tutorialspoint.com, it says that a session is used to get a physical connection with a database. The session object is lightweight and designed to be instantiated each time an integration is needed with the database. Persistent objects are saved and retrieved through a session object. You also need a query, and that's an object that has a SQL or a Hibernate query language query to change the database. You need a Hibernate library, and that is you can install the Hibernate library or import it to your libraries through NetBeans. And so a closer look at a session starting example is like a session, and then you can name it whatever you want. Session equals factory.open session. And let's look at the example that I have in NetBeans. This is from Tutorials Point. I used their example. So let's start off just taking a look at this. The first thing you're going to want to do, according to the Tutorials Point, is you need to create the hibernate.cfg.xml configuration. And so this is a configuration file, and I'll show you that. And so let's take a look at this. This configuration file is most common to the Hibernate 3 configuration DTD. And so basically it has like the MySQL dialect. It makes sure that it translates to MySQL, and it connects to the localhost database, and it has the username and password, and that's kind of how things are mapped out. And the next thing you'll need is you need mapping. Let me pull my notes back up real quick. Hibernate examples. Yeah, so with mapping, you need the employee h.hbm.xml mapping file. Which is here. And what this does, this step is to create a mapping file that instructs Hibernate how to map the defined class or classes to the database tables. So this is So for example, property first name, the column is first name. Like this is the string that's kind of in Java, and this is what it's called in the table. And the table is called employee, and it just maps everything together. Like employee is employee, first name is first name. And yeah, I mean, obviously you're gonna have strings or names that are similar so you don't get confused. So that's what the mapping file does. And then you're going to need employee.java. This has getters and setters for each of the rows in the database, and it has private strings or integers for those too. So for example, first name, last name, salary, and ID, and then it creates a public employee and pulls those in here and has getters and setters for those. And then you need the main class, which is what does the querying. So for example, it uses, so this has the main method, and we use this application to save a few employees' records, and then we will apply CRUD operations, create, read, update, and delete to those records. So this adds a few employee records in the database, empid 1, 2, and 3, and so this is kind of like the salary and the first name and last name, and then ID is the primary key, auto-incremented, so those aren't there. And then it has a system out print line function that kind of tells you what's going on. And so I'm getting errors when I run this. I haven't completely figured out why. Caused by org.hibernate execution, error calling driver #connect. I'm not sure what that means. One thing that I just thought of while making this video was opening my mapping file and getting rid of the password, and then trying it, because I'm pretty sure there's no password. Same thing. But anyway, I'm close to getting it to work. And then when I do, I made this J-frame that's pretty simple. And you can run the J-frame, and it pulls up just a swing that shows you the database on a table. So I made a test entry here just to show that it works. But that's what I've learned for Hibernate. If anyone knows anything about my errors, let me know. I'm going to post this sharing video to the discussion board. If anyone has any ideas, yeah, this is from Tutorials Point. You probably all saw this tutorial. I'll pull up the URL here, tutorialspoint.com/hibernate/hibernate_examples.htm. So I'm not sure why it's not working, but if anyone has any ideas, I'd appreciate the pointers, all the pointers I can get. And if anyone has any questions, I'll try to answer those too, as best that I can. Thank you.